Hi, we're back on Smells Like 90's Rock. Hot Toddy and DJ P.O.R.C. And tell everybody what you got to buy on the way home.
No, I'm not.
Say it!
Resolve.
Ah!
Inside joke. We're not allowed to say
No.
anything more.
But the third letter in his acronym name, R,
Resolve.
in P.O.R.C. is Resolve. And there's a
Based
reason
on a
for
story
it.
that none of you will ever hear.
We can't talk about it. But it's good to know that the reason why you're buying it is not for that reason.
Exactly.
That's a very positive thing.
Positivity.
Yes, it involves poo, but we're not going to go any further than that.
We weren't even going to go that far. Thanks, Todd.
Well, it's not your poo. So it's
No,
fine.
it's not my poo.
It's all good. Everything's fine. But he has to get some resolve for something.
I'm sick.
And he's sick.
NyQuil, here I come.
I was about to say, don't take Resolve. Take NyQuil.
I don't even know. I don't know if I want to take NyQuil tonight.
No, I probably wouldn't. Do you have to work tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, then what time do you have to go to work?
I have to be there at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I don't know. I didn't wake up till noon.
Load
today.
yourself up with some NyQuil when you get home. Don't overdose, but just do it enough to where you get some good sleep.
I'll just take one little cupful.
Oh, no, a little cupful.
That's all it took to put me out for 11 hours.
Well, there you go.
And it took me a minute to wake up.
I can imagine. It's like I said, you don't sleep very much or very well, so that NyQuil, when it knocked you out, Mama said knock you out.
I went down.
And you were out. You were gone. We almost lost you, but you're here. We're happy.
Yeah.
So last week we told the very icky story of Dr. Karl van Cosel.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Von Cosel originally from Germany, who came to the American...
Came to Florida.
I'm so tired. Came to Florida. Yes, came to America,
came
Florida.
to the American Peninsula of
Came
Florida.
to the American Peninsula of Florida to help out with the tuberculosis outbreak in the 30s. He was a brilliant doctor.
And he fell in love with a Cuban immigrant.
He did, and madly in love, although she never knew it. But he paid special attention to her because she was dying of TB, and tried to save her. He couldn't, and so she died. But he was madly in love with her, bought her a mausoleum when she died.
And then abducted her corpse.
And then stole her corpse and moved it into his home, where he preserved her body in weird ways with wax and fake eyes, glass eyes, and a wig that was made from her hair as it fell out, and some other things that I'm not going to go into.
I'll never let you go, baby.
Yeah. And kept it there for years until her family was like, her body's gone. We know you have her body. Can we have her body back? And he was like, I didn't. And then he was taken to jail.
Did he die in jail?
No.
Was he eventually released?
He was eventually released, I think. He tried to plead insanity. They wanted to plead insanity, but I told you about this. They gave him a test to see if he was actually insane, and he was actually perfectly sane.
Except for the whole thing of abducting a corpse.
You know, abducting a corpse or whatever.
Sex with it.
Right. I was leaving that part out, but you went there. But yeah, he did do that.
I feel like that's a red flag if we're testing sanity here.
Yeah, I guess so. And you have to also keep in mind that von Cosel had a wife and children back in Germany. He was expected to go back home to Germany after he helped out with the tuberculosis outbreak, and he never did. And he
loved her.
He kind of fell off the face of the earth. Like, people didn't know what happened to him.
True love.
And then, like I said, the body of the girl was also missing.
I think they intentionally buried her in an unmarked grave so it wouldn't happen again.
That's right, yeah. So, like, they both went missing. They finally found him, got the body, buried it in an unmarked grave. Like, nobody, only her family, only her descendants know where she's buried at now. Nobody else in the world knows.
Because you know there's some weirdo that's going to dig her up.
Yeah, I mean,
this
was a big story back then, and now it's just kind of a creepy tale to tell now. But yeah, so they buried her in an unmarked grave, so they never find her, and then he eventually died of a broken heart from all of this. So
of course, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it wasn't old age.
No, it was. I think they established that his death was heart failure when he died, and that's you could just,
that's what they attributed to.
Like, you could just say that was a broken heart. Yeah, because he had to live the rest of his life, dead bodiless, and it's sad, but also just disgusting all at the same
romantic. It's
what did
sad.
I called it a sadistic love story is what
Yeah.
it is. It's, I completely understand not wanting to let go, but in this case, you really needed to let go. I mean, it's just that's the way it is. I know that you're in pain, but brah, dude, brah, come on. There's other fish in the sea, and they're alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And they smell better.
You don't have to have sex with a dead one.
No, and they smell better, and they're not decomposing, and it's like I said, it's a sad story. It's a sad story among anything else. It's sad, then scary. It's sad, creepy, scary, evil.
Yeah. No, it's not quite evil. It's just sad for me.
Well, I mean,
sad and just really kind of disgusting.
Ouch. Like, I've lost people, but I didn't dig up their corpse and keep them in my home. I don't have enough room.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you had like a ton of room, would you do it?
No, that's the big difference between me and Dr. Von Cosel.
You're not insane.
I would not do that. Yes. Well, according to the test, he wasn't insane either.
No, if he had no remorse for it, he's insane.
Yeah, he didn't have any more remorse.
The only way I could see him declaring him sane if he said, "Do you see a problem with this?" He said, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
But I was so overwhelmed by my grief, I just felt no alternative whatsoever. And I know it's wrong, but I couldn't help myself.
And he had no grief.
That's the only way I could maybe say, okay, maybe you just need help.
Yeah.
You're not quite insane, but you need help.
No, he was perfectly sane and thought what he did was
logical or something.
No, I think. Let me run through this in my brain for a minute.
Man, we're putting a lot of analysis into a case of necrophilia.
This is one of the most compelling stories of necrophilia, probably the most compelling story of necrophilia ever. I think he knew it was wrong, but he didn't care. I think that's. What do you say to that? How would you point that then?
He knew it was wrong, but he didn't care.
But because he wanted her in his life regardless.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still chucking that up to craziness.
Yeah, I mean that's knowing something's wrong and really wrong and doing it anyway. That's still not like a marker of like psychopathy.
I guess so.
Sort of a certain amorality in your character. It's a sign of a personality disorder at the very least.
It's so weird that we're talking about this because just today I came across a mini documentary on YouTube of a serial killer that I'd never heard of before called the Weepy Voice Killer.
Never heard of him.
So it was in the early 80s, and he essentially had what I think he had like a rage disorder, because what he would do is he would go out, find women and kill them, and then afterwards he would call the police. He would call the police in hysterics, crying, saying, "You got to find me. You have to find me because I keep killing. Please come find me because I just keep killing and I'll never get into heaven." Crying his eyes out, losing his mind, and then he would hang up. And they gave him the name the Weepy Voice Killer because he would call in. And for a while there, they thought that he was doing that to brag about killing, but he, as it turns out later down the road, he actually felt remorse and he knew it was wrong and he didn't want to do it. And after it was over, he would get so upset that he did it that he would call the police and beg them to find him, but not give them his location at the time, mind you. But
why wouldn't he do that though?
That's the mind of somebody who suffers from this. What is this? Yeah, what goes through their mind?